Hi guys, welcome back to another video. So this video is going to be about how I made my recent doll. It is Midnight Wildcat and it is currently in my shop at creaturesandart.com. I'm using one of my original sculpts that I used back when I started, and I'm sort of modifying it a little bit with some glass eyes this time. So just to give it a little bit more realism, because all my dolls have glass eyes now. So basically I just drilled out where I originally sculpted the eyes. This is sculpted in Super Sculpey, it's the beige coloured one. And then I'm going ahead and adding some glass eyes. They're just glass cabochons. I also do this for resin, casting resin, and I also cast the glass inside of the resin, I should say. So I've just put that tutorial up in my shop if you want to know how I do that, and also how I create reflective eyes, sort of like this one, same concept but they're more reflective. And then I'm just setting them in place with some epoxy sculpt. So I wanted to change the gaze on this one, so a little bit more of a lower gaze, I guess, and I wanted to use these purple cabochons, so I thought a perfect fit for this little doll. So once that's dry, I can go ahead and start priming things. So I use a canvas primer before I paint the surfaces. It just gives it a good tooth for it to for the paint to stick to, and then I go ahead and paint the surfaces that that it's going to be showing through the faux fur. I mean, I probably should have used a smaller brush for that, but it's just acrylic paint. It's nothing fancy. And I am using a 1/4 size ball and socket armature for this doll, so it is my medium size. I have heaps of this in my shop, and as well as these pliers if you want to create your own dolls. And I also offer already made armatures as well, and they're basically just one size, so it's just really easy to snap together, and it just basically creates a skeleton for your doll instead of using wire. I then use pipe cleaners to wrap around the armature because I'm doing some needle felting for the body, and it just gives the felt something to stick to. I find it's a bit difficult to work with when I'm just working with the plain armature, so yeah, the pipe cleaners work really well for that fibre to stick to. And I basically just wrap it around and use a little needle felting tool to create a body, basically like a muscle mass, and then I can put the faux fur on, which is kind of like the skin layer. And I find this works really well for muscle tones and little bits and pieces that you want to enhance. I think needle felting works really well for this these procedures. So once I'm happy with the body, I can start pinning the skin or the faux fur layer together. So this one's a little bit of a different combination of furs. So one's short with a pattern, and we have this long gradient one. So I wanted the gradient to be sort of part of the mane and then running down the back to the tail, and then the pattern sort of underneath. So I sort of just didn't really have a plan. I just had these two fabrics and just went with it. I was initially going to add purple to the faux fur, but I sort of decided against it once I put the doll together. I just sort of be too sort of busy, and I thought I liked the purple eyes against the sort of monotoned doll, so I didn't go for adding any purple anywhere, although it would have been a nice enhancement anyway. So once it's all pinned together, I can start sewing. So I'm basically just doing the torso bit first, using a lattice stitch and sewing it all together, and then I'll go ahead and add the leg areas as well, and then lastly the tail, and sort of just refining it a bit more as I'm sewing, and that's really good for using the lattice stitch, and that's kind of why I do needle felting, because you can go along using the felt body as sort of a template to achieve like the different sort of muscle mass and shape that you want, rather than using a sort of standard teddy bear pattern way that I used to do. Yeah, I think it does take a little bit longer, but at the end it sort of is a benefit for that way. But yeah, so finish sewing everything up first, and then I'll come back. So once everything's sewn up, I can start furring all of the areas that are exposed. So that's usually the face and the feet, and I opted for like a whole black gradient, starting like with the black and then going to the silver gradient to begin with. I was originally going to leave the nose pink, but this didn't really match it just didn't really match the doll, so I ended up painting it black, and it looks much better and like a bit more in place. So just doing all the little neatening up and enhancement of the features, and that's basically it for this little doll. So it's available in my shop, like I said at the start, at creaturesandthat.com. Payment plans are welcome. Just shoot me a message and I can tell you how we work. And yeah, thanks to my patrons for supporting me. Check me out over there or on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, creaturesandthat.com. And I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.